Hello and welcome to Coffee and Bonsai with Tom. Today we're going to work on my root beer barrel, Dwarf Jade. I call this tree root beer barrel because it very much reminds me of those root beer candies I used to get as a kid that came in the little cellophane wrapper. Both the pot reminds me of that, and also the trunk. So that's where it got its name. You can see here we've got a little hedgehog along for the ride, and I'll tell you a little bit more about him later. I believe my wife put him in here. Let's zoom in here and take a look at the trunk. Now, I got this from a Puget Sound Bonsai Association member as a tiny cutting. This tree's spent its entire life in this pot, and I don't know if it's a cork bark or not, but it certainly looks to me like it very well may be, which I'll just be delighted if that's the case. But, it's hard to know the background of some of these Portulacaria Afras for sure. Well, let's give it a quick spin. You can take a look at it. You can see it's certainly grown a lot, and it needs pruning, maybe a little bit of styling. And really, my goal for it today is to fix that, clean it up, get it back on track to what my idea for this tree is, which is to have it be a much shorter, squatter tree than it currently is. You can see here as well the tree's kind of leaning back, so I kind of want to prop it up so it's more upright. As I said, this tree was just a tiny little sprig of a cutting when I put it in here, and it's kind of evolved to its current shape, so I should really repot it soon and straighten that up. But you can see actually when we lean it forward, like there's some duplicate branches on the left which kind of disappear, so it gives me a little more options on the styling as well there. So let's put a rock under there and just kind of, prune it in the position that it'll eventually be in when I adjust it. Well, let's get to work on this little guy. I'll kind of zoom out a little so you can sort of see the full profile of the tree while we work on it. And you can see it's not bad. It has a general triangular shape. I think well, first off, you can see it's very small. You can see my hand here, and I really like working on small trees. I just find them fascinating to work with. I mentioned I kind of want this tree to be smaller, and one way I found that helps envision that is if you just, take your hands and sort of, create a profile of what you think it might want to look like. And it gives you a very good idea of where you might want to go with it. And so what I just showed there is part of my idea to really just kind of, shorten this down and thin it out and get it back to its basics. You can see it's really quite shaggy and you can't really make out a lot of detail as I spin it around. So that's the goal. And we'll get the scissors out here and get to it. So as I look here, I definitely see where I want to do a lot of thinning out and taking out branches that are going the wrong way. But sometimes I like to start with a bigger thing. Like I see this bar branch in the front, and you can see that branch is okay on the left, but the one on the right, it really and even those two parallel branches are okay. But this one on the right, it hangs over this low branch on the right, the second one up on the right, and I'm just going to take that off because I think it just adds, look, you can't even tell it's no longer there, basically. It was adding nothing, and that'll make a nice little cutting for my tiny forest. Yeah, so that was good, and as I look around there, I think I'll clean this up. I really want to mention, I just really like working on these small trees. I don't have a lot of space. They're easy to work on. They're easy to care for. They're easy to water. And, I'm really just having a lot of fun with them. As I look around here, I think I'm definitely going to take a bit of the top off here and shorten this down. Let me just look around. Yeah, there's a lot to do along the back. But yeah, I really enjoy timber. Here we go. I really enjoy working on these These small trees, I find them. Oh, my rock slipped out here. Let's get that back in there. Sometimes it's probably a better way to do this, but yeah, that's. Let me just squeeze this in a bit so it doesn't come out again. Yeah, I think that'll hold there. Yeah. So, let's see, where was I? Oh yeah, I was about to dramatically reduce the top here. So let's see, I think about right there to start with. Maybe I'll go a little lower. That'll make another nice little wild cutting. Just thin this out a bit. You can see I've got like a thick branch near the top on the right. I'm going to have to deal with that as well. But for now, I'll just kind of thin things down and try to get it under control so I can see the tree for the forest, as it were. So I think that's a good start anyway, and I think I'll just go around here and do my typical thinning out a bit, removing stuff that's too long, stuff that's going into the tree or straight up or straight down or big or ugly. And I just kind of spin it around and look at it and just kind of take it back to one or two leaves and see how that goes. I mentioned a hedgehog. My wife put that little hedgehog figure in here, and we had a hedgehog pet for years, and I gotta say, I just thin this out. You see a picture of a hedgehog, and they look like they're just cute, cuddly, snuggly, little fun creatures, and and I can tell you they're anything but. I think the happiest days are when you first get the hedgehog, and then when you pass it on to the next unsuspecting victim, because they're not at all what they look like. I'm just going around here thinning this out. So she got this mainly as a pet for the school, right? For her classroom, and it worked out well for quite a while, and then I think the kids discovered what I just mentioned, and it was not of great interest. And they're also nocturnal, so the thing sleeps all day and hides from you, and then makes noise and keeps you up all night. So not the ideal pet. I'm just going thinning this out a bit so we can really see the structure of the tree. I kind of in the middle back branch now. Yeah, I think it's coming together. But anyway, the most astounding thing for me about a hedgehog, and I'll move on to the right branch, just thin it out here, is, they're spiny and they're cold. And they like to roll around in dirt and other things. I'll let you use your imagination that sticks to their spines. So it's just disgusting. But anyway, the story ended happily because I eventually found someone here in Seattle who was originally from the UK. Apparently, they have a lot of these in gardens and whatnot. And she had a nice little winter garden. And she happily took this hedgehog, and she would regularly send me videos. And I'm going to just thin this out. And it was just so happy to be digging around in this garden, eating, I don't know, slugs and bugs, and so it worked out for everybody. And she still sends me videos occasionally. So I think this is taking shape. I'm gonna kind of cut this probably just thin this on the left a bit, and you can really see that upper branch is kind of sticking up like a crowbar up there. So we're slowly gonna have to deal with that. But anyway, that was my hedgehog story. I think I'll just cut this back, and maybe you can see it's thick, and I don't know if I want to take it all the way off. So I'll probably just cut it back, and we'll see what grows, and punt it down the road to deal with it in the future. So I'll just continue to thin out leaves and really kind of get rid of stuff that it's just kind of noise, and get this ready to regrow. We're kind of spring is really starting to cook around here now, and I don't like to put my Portulacaria Afras outside until it's about 50 at night, and so we should be hitting that in the next couple of weeks. I've already got my Jades out there. They love the cold weather as long as I keep them dry from our frequent rain. But yeah, that right is I'm gonna have to do something about that. But I like to keep these guys in a bit because otherwise they just kind of, I mean, they don't die, but they just sit out there and don't do anything, and I want to keep them moving. But I think this is taking shape, you know, like as I said, I just love working on these tiny trees. I can have a lot of them. They don't take up a lot of space. They're easy to move. They're easy to repot. I don't have to buy a lot of soil. I just find them just charming to work with. So I think I'll thin this out a little, but I think we're getting close. I don't. I still want to do something with that top branch, but I think the rest of it is looking pretty good. I mean, I accomplished my goal of really reducing the height of this. So I think the big pruning, at least for this session's kind of done. And let me look at this. This is just going to get worse if I don't do something with it. I mean, it's kind of nice because I've got a nice branch separation up there. But it's just too thick and it kind of catches your eye in a bad way. And so I think I don't want to lose it because I need something up there, but I want to cut it back as much as I can, and then we'll see what happens. It's a bit better, and then go from there. Yeah, so I think the basic structure stuff with that cut is kind of done, and I'll just sort of spin it around and do the fine tuning. This is often one of my favorite parts because you really, you know, I don't know. I guess it's like decorating a cake or something. You're really putting the finishing touches on what you can do at this point. And I'm tempted to cut this back. Yeah, I think I can go back even a little further there. And just, kind of thin it out, really take it down to exactly what you want it to look like. And if you enjoy that process, these Portulacarias are awesome because they just get so many leaves. You can have a lot of fun just kind of taking out what you don't want and encouraging it to do what you want it to do. So, and I'm basically just taking everything down to one set of leaves, and then removing stuff that is not going in a direction that I want. But you really this is the opportunity to create clouds, pads, whatever you want to say. You're sort of really reducing it down to its simplest terms so you can completely see the structure and the concept of the tree. And we're getting close. I think I'm kind of looking at these edges a bit, and I think we kind of want to thin this up a little and just sort of maybe bring that in even because it's sort of just looks like it's kind of hanging out there. Yeah, that's way better. Nice and tight. And, it really kind of gives the impression of a tree, which is what we're going for. And this will be great, when this thing fills in and thickens up. I think it'll be quite charming. So there's a little confusion right in this area here where, I kind of want to just clean that up because I want a separation between this branch and the one above it. And I think that was an improvement. And I'll just take a step back and sort of look at it and see if I want to do any more simplification here. But we are getting pretty close. Let's see. I think that area will fill in, and it should have quite a nice shape, and that large branch fills in on that space. I don't know. I think I've kind of taken this that's about all I can do there. Let me go on this side over here because I feel like this is still a bit busy, especially compared to the rest of the tree. Yeah, let me thin this out some. It's just, I sort of want to see almost each leaf, and what the intention of the growth is rather than just having a mass of green there. So I'm going to try to provide that. I think that's a bit better. So I think that is pretty close to a wrap. Yeah, I think we've done a great job on this. I've been really. I mean, it's dramatically simplified from what we started with. We'll just do a little victory lap, take a good look at it, and we will put it back under the lights and then outside soon to grow, 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 and we'll see what happens. But yeah, I'm very happy with how this came out, and I mean, this tree's only a year and a half old. Maybe it's not very old at all, and I think it's quite promising. So that's pretty much a wrap. While I clean up here, I want to leave you with this parting thought, and that is to challenge yourself to think small. I spent many years dealing with large trees, and I think they're fine. Large trees are lovely, but I am loving working on these small trees, and I honestly don't miss large trees at all. And my back certainly that'll make a nice cutting for my tiny forest. My back certainly doesn't miss it at all. So have a mix of trees, and you may just find that these super tiny trees really just I don't know, find a place in your heart and just bring so much fun and joy that you tend to collect more and more of them. So that's all for today. I want to thank you for spending time with me, and I look forward to spending time with you again very, very soon.